One of the leading figures of the anti-apartheid struggle, Winnie Mandela, has died. The second wife of the former South African leader Nelson Mandela, she was 81. Winnie was a key figure in the anti-apartheid struggle during her husband Nelson's long years in a South African prison. She was once known as the mother of the nation, but became embroiled in controversy. What will Winnie Mandela's legacy be? Also on Global Today, American wine and pork, unshelled cashew nuts and dried apricots are among the US goods targeted by Beijing for retaliatory trade tariffs. With President Trump set to announce more tariffs, what could be the effect on trade between the two biggest economies in the world? And cleaning up space, we'll look at a new mission to get rid of the dangerous debris orbiting the Earth. Hello, welcome to Global. We start with the breaking news in the past few hours that Winnie Mandela, the former wife of South Africa's first black president Nelson Mandela, has died. The controversial anti-apartheid campaigner was 81. Initially known as the first mother of the nation, a series of controversies and scandals, including being implicated in murder, changed that nickname to First Mugger of South Africa. Well, a short while ago at the hospital where she died in Johannesburg, South Africa's Minister of Energy, Jeff Radebe, called her an icon for her part in the struggle against apartheid. We'll cross to that in a moment, as soon as that starts. But first of all, let's speak to our regional Africa editor, Mary Harper. Mary, I mean, a huge figure in South African politics, but a very controversial one.
Very controversial, but I think it must be pointed out that while her then husband, Nelson Mandela, was languishing in jail for 27 years, she was really in the rough and tumble of apartheid South Africa. More on the death of Winnie Mandela later in the programme. Now, Donald Trump recently tweeted, "Trade wars are good and easy to win." Well, this week he might be witnessing the opening skirmishes of that battle after China, reacting to last month's US tariff increases, imposed measures of its own. Beijing's retaliatory actions are relatively small so far, affecting $3 billion worth of goods compared to Washington's $60 billion. But do they amount to a row of beans? Well, so far, soya beans, a huge US export, isn't on the list, but 128 other largely agricultural goods are. To discuss this, I'm joined by David Salmonson, a Senior Director of the American Farm Bureau Federation, and Ashley Johnson from the National Bureau of Asian Research. He's a China trade specialist. David, if I can start with you. They are relatively small. Is the real risk here that this could escalate? I mean, when you look at this in retaliatory action against the steel and aluminium imports into the US, I mean, China represents a pretty small figure, doesn't it, in all of this? Where's the strategic sense in this? Next few minutes we'll be returning to the story, speaking to a representative from the US agricultural industry. Well, in fact, we've just done that. So let's have a look at the day's other main news now on Global. A curfew has been imposed in parts of Indian-administered Kashmir after some of the most worst violence for months. It's left at least 20 people dead. Police and residents said violence erupted on Sunday when hundreds of people tried to prevent Indian soldiers from carrying out operations against suspected militants. Syrian state TV says the first fighters from the group that controls the final rebel-held part of eastern Ghouta have begun leaving. They are being bussed out of the town of Douma, the rebels' last stronghold in the enclave just outside Damascus. The Syrian government says there is a deal between rebels and local leaders and Russia, but the rebels haven't confirmed this yet. Russia has successfully tested a new anti-ballistic missile in Kazakhstan. The new modernised missile system is designed to protect Moscow against air and space strikes. In a statement, the Russian military said the missile's range, accuracy and duration of operation were much higher than the counterparts currently in service.
Welcome back to Global. It hardly comes as a shock. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi will lead Egypt for another 4 years. With no serious challenges, he was re-elected with 97% of the vote. Turnout, though, was only 41%. His sole challenger, Mustafa Musa, had previously endorsed Mr. Sisi. Thank you very much. The radicalism endured to her death, the death of Winnie Mandela at the age of 81. More on the website about that and all the other stories. We're back in a few minutes' time with another edition. See you then.